minute, we will continue the transmission in the following way. Allow us to briefly recap. You have your 15-minute time span, which is the time in which, generally speaking, the neurological pathways go from plasticity to hardwiring themselves with a new idea. And with every single thought, with every single feeling, with every single definition, you change the wiring of your brain. And now, with the understanding and the introduction of this specific structure of belief, embedded through the holotropic experience, into the center of your receiver antenna brain, you now can have the opportunity to always allow there to be a doorway to the light, even in the darkest of hours, even in the most negative of beliefs. There will always be that tug and that pull to remind you that there is always a light at the end of that tunnel, and to urge you to walk toward it. And to know that every moment is a new reality. A new you. Utterly and totally defined by whatever definition you choose to buy into most strongly at that moment. And we remind you of your mechanisms of manifestation, making the invisible visible that is already here, and motivation, discovering what beliefs you have attached to the ideas of pleasure and pain. That these things are not things you have to learn, just things you have to clarify and use as tools. With your permission slips, you are now more capable, because you are new people, more capable than those people that were here a moment ago. More different, more clearly aligned, more clearly defined with the higher mind in concert with the physical mind than the people that were here before. Those people are in another reality. It still exists, but they are not you and you are not them. You are now who you define yourselves to be. Feel the difference in greater ways every day, and you will see and experience the immediateness of the shift from reality to reality by simply creating greater difference between them. Because there is already a total change with every change. And now, in keeping with the idea of the manifestation mechanism we described, by focusing and concentrating your intention, as you did in the holotropic experience, bringing your passion, your vibration of highest resonance into it, we now transfer to the other side of letting go, opening up, surrendering, not thinking about it, changing the subject, going in a new direction, lightening up, not worrying about it at all, letting the higher mind take care of it for you, letting the higher mind involve itself with the how your passion will manifest, of the how the synchronicity will present itself to you. This already works. You don't have to make it work. It's the nature of the structure of existence and creation itself. Let it work. Allow it to work. Relax. Let go. Be at peace. To begin changing the subject, lightening things up, we will, first and foremost, before we engage in questions, tell a story. So relax. Get comfy, as you say. If you wish, put on your ethereal pajamas. Have some astral cocoa. All right. and sit before your crackling etheric fire. Relax. Once upon a time, on my world, when I was first training to become a contact specialist, my father and my mother brought me before a group of very experienced contact specialists, 10 in all. They related to me, each and every one in his or her turn, their stories of their first contacts with other civilizations and what they learned from the experience, what they gained, how they grew, how differently they perceived the idea of creation by having experienced another facet of creation through the auspices of a completely different civilization, and how that reflected upon us and how we could look at ourselves in different ways. Throughout the course of a day, they related their stories to me and also to my counterpart, who many of you know as Anima. And as together she and I sat and listened and absorbed and imagined and visualized the scenarios that they were painting in our minds, bit by bit we realized they were also not only just telling stories, but handing over their experience energetically, allowing us to literally live emotionally, vibrationally, mentally, through those experiences, allowing us literally to taste, hear, see, touch, feel every sensation that they had experienced in those first contacts with other civilizations, priming us for the new civilizations we would encounter, such as your own. So that by the time it came time to encounter you, we would have a wealth of experience and knowledge to draw upon, to aid and assist you, and also to allow our interaction with you to aid and assist us in seeing ourselves relative to all the other civilizations, all the other facets of the multidimensional crystal of all that is, and giving us a deeper appreciation of our connection, of our relationship as family within creation, as parts of the all that is, as parts of the one, as expressions and reflections of each other. And at the end of that day, after we had absorbed those experiences in that way, we were then allowed to be by ourselves momentarily, alone. They all left, bid us, as you say, farewell, went on their way. Anima and I were simply by ourselves in what you would call a very natural setting of trees, of grass. And as we allowed ourselves to simply remain there quietly, absorbing all that we had learned, we began to realize that the stories were not over. For as we sat there, in that resonance, in that vibration, suddenly we received stories from the rocks and the trees and the animals and the sky and the water and the air. And everything our world had to offer in its consciousness, in supporting us as the mother of us, we received from her that day, to let us know that as we ventured out among the stars, we would always carry a piece of our own home world in our hearts. We would never be disconnected from her. And that as we make contact with other worlds, other beautiful gems in space such as yours, not only is it our personage that we present to you, but the entirety of the consciousness of our world, not just the people, but the planet and everything upon it, and everything within it, and everything that it is. So that our worlds are also communing vibrationally as we speak to you as people our respective planets are also speaking to each other through the timeless void of space and time. This communication is taking place on many levels, all at once, all now, and that is what we learned that day. So be it. Kenneth.
Yes.
Would you like to share your questions now?
Yes. Hello, Bashar.
And to you good day.
I was really glad that the guy this morning called you B.
Yes.
I like nicknames. They save so much time.
Yes.
Of course, you know, these days we recognize that as a dual-layer joke. The first layer being, of course, on the human level, where nicknames really don't save that much time. And on the metaphysical layer, we know that there is no such thing as time.
Yes.
So there's nothing to save anyway.
Yes, thank you.
Yes. So, I have a metaphysical joke for you.
Oh, all right.
And I would appreciate it if you would get your people tuned into this.
Always.
Okay. So, you ready for the joke?
Yes.
How many Sasani does it take to change a light bulb?
Let me check. All right, we give up. How many?
None. Everything changes, so the light bulb changes on its own.
Oh, thank you. Thank you also for participating in lightening up the energy so that it is easier for individuals to let go and surrender.
Thank you. I appreciate your acknowledging that. At a previous channeling session, I say previous in quotes since it's all happening now anyway.
Thank you.
You talked about the games that you guys play on your world.
Yes.
And so I have a question about games. You say that your people are on average about 5 of our feet tall.
Yes.
So does that mean your basketball hoops are proportionately lower?
If we had basketball, they would be.
Yes. And of course, that's why it's funny for us, because we all know you don't play basketball.
Yes.
Yeah.
Although, not entirely true. Any time we make contact with a new world, there are usually at least a few of us who make an attempt to emulate some of the things of that world, including some of your games.
Mm-hmm.
So there have actually been a few that have attempted what you call basketball, baseball, and so forth.
Uh-huh. I'm getting the picture that the balls might be balls of energy rather than physical balls.
Not always. Sometimes we really wish to, as you say, get down and dirty and play like the natives. So that we can gain a thorough appreciation of the physicality that you experience in your reality when playing the game.
And do you appreciate it the way we do, or at least appreciate it in your sense?
Yes.
Yeah, good. You realize, Bashar, that going by the single name Bashar puts you kind of in a unique category that includes Cher and Madonna.
Yes.
Prince, yeah. Just thought I'd make.
Thank you.
Anyway, now to my question. I have been reading a series of books called the I Am Discourses,
Yes.
which are basically discourses given by Earth Ascended Masters, primarily Saint Germain.
Yes.
And they use the term I Am Presence.
Yes.
And the concept that they refer to, I believe, is the same as the concept that you refer to when you say higher self. My question is, are these two terms truly synonymous, or are they talking about a level or a span of frequency that's different from the span of frequency that you refer to when you say higher self?
It is the combination frequency. When we talk about the idea of the partnership and the relationship in perfect balance between the physical mind and the higher mind together, that can be referred to more precisely vibrationally in the way they mean it as the I am presence.
Okay. So there's kind of an overlap there.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. The Ascended Masters are purported to have completely, I just about used the word conquered, but I really mean gained command over physical reality in all respects. They can materialize their bodies, as I understand it, dematerialize their bodies. And this would be a level of ability for humans that is quite extraordinary, that, as I understand it, is different from the level of reality or command over reality that you guys have. And I'm not trying to make a comparison for judgmental purposes, just so that we can see that as humans we can ascend to a level of truly complete command over our reality if that's what we choose.
Yes, and many individuals in my own society have that command.
Aha. Is there a particular reason why some do and some don't?
Yes. It depends on the path they have chosen, what it is they are teaching, what it is they have to reflect, and also to some degree the idea of what many individuals choose to do with remaining in certain levels that make it more conducive for them to interact with other beings of similar level.
Mm-hmm. So what is it that they are communicating by understanding and having this command of reality that someone who doesn't have that command is not communicating?
First of all, they are, as a vanguard in a sense, communicating to the entire society and constantly reflecting to them openly the potential that exists in all, so that we never forget that by having examples around us all the time.
Which is what our Ascended Masters do as well.
Yes.
Cool. Okay.
Bashar? There's that temperature again.
Yeah. That's the end of my questions. Bashar, get out of my way. I'm coming through.
Shivai.
Shivai to you.
Thank you. K.
You're welcome, B.
We may continue now to divert ourselves with dialogue and questions, so that we may relax and surrender and know that as we dialogue on various subjects and as we discourse in that way as friends, bit by bit, all the things that you experienced in this three-part transmission will be more and more deeply sinking in, even as you don't think about them at all.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
I just want to thank you so much.
One moment. All right.
I wanted to thank you so much. I saw you probably a year and a half ago at the quantum physics workshop that you did, and my life has just been a series of miracles and synchronistic events, and it's been so much fun. And
well, thank you for creating your life to be that.
Thank you. At that workshop, you had mentioned that there was these ships in the sky. They were stars. They would look like stars. They were blue and red and white, and they would strobe. And you said that those were the motherships. And I was incredibly excited to spot them, and I did. And I see them all the time, and I wanted to ask you if those, other people tell me, like, they're just stars. That's what stars do. They strobe like that. And
sometimes that is what they are. Okay. Sometimes, if you are able to pierce into other dimensional frequencies, you can see that there are other things there. It is simply a matter of having discernment to tell the difference.
Okay. A year ago at the Burning Man Festival,
yes.
I would say my highest excitement at that time was to make contact with a UFO. And I meditated on it for several months before I went to the festival. And when I got there, I saw stars flying in the sky. And so did several of my friends, and it was really exciting. And then one particular night, it seemed as if the planet Jupiter flew across the sky.
No.
And there were several of us who obviously it wasn't the planet Jupiter. It was something else. It looked like maybe it was parked in front of Jupiter, but definitely a very bright object that was pretending to be Jupiter that evening, flew very dramatically across the sky, and about 10 of my friends saw it, and it was incredibly exciting. And I don't know what to make of that.
What do you need to make of it?
I'm curious from your perspective what it was that we actually saw and how it manifested itself in that manner.
There will always be, in a sense, observations made and observations allowed to test the level of ability that you have as beings to pierce the veil into other dimensional frequencies and see things that otherwise you would not be capable of perceiving. So many of these are simply, in that sense, barometers to allow us to know and others to know what level of frequency you happen to be operating at in that particular scenario, so that we can, in that sense, gauge and understand what different scenarios allow you to do as permission slips to take yourself to different levels, and what, by taking yourself to those different levels, you are capable of perceiving.
Okay.
For we will know when you can see us, and we will know when you cannot.
Interesting.
And that will go into a large pool of understanding and knowledge about how ready your species and your planet is for further contact.
Okay.
All right?
Yes.
So you can make that of it if you wish.
I shall. Thank
All
you. Another question. I have a negative blood type, and I've wanted to ask you this for a while. I've read about it, and I've tried to understand where it comes from. And I'm curious, from your perspective, what if I incarnated into this body at this time, space, reality, with this particular blood type for a particular reason?
Of course.
You
always make these choices. There are always aspects of what you choose to experience as an incarnation that play into the theme that you chose to explore. Again, the question is, what do you make of it? What does it turn your mind to? What does it focus you on? When you create symbols for yourself in your reality, it is usually reflective of some aspect of the theme that you are exploring in this life. For example, the channel's blood type is B positive. Catch my drift?
Yes.
Does that help? Yes, no, maybe.
A little bit.
All
I was
right.
wondering if you could explain a little bit where it comes from, and
as we have recently said, humanity is a mix of a variety of genetic types, the idea being that some of it is extraterrestrial in origin. So in that you have these mixed up genetics, some of the issues of blood type are connected to that, and some of them are also representative of the indigenous stock of the hominid that evolved naturally on the planet. But at this point in time, as you call time, at this point in your evolution, at this point in your day and age, it all simply functions right now as a symbol, in the sense of whatever it is that it turns your mind to most strongly is usually a reflective indication of a theme that you are exploring, and that's the way to utilize it, in our opinion, at this time.
Okay.
All right.
Yes. And I have one last question. It's a little odd question.
Oh,
but
an
it's
odd question as opposed to an even question. Yes, well,
Exactly.
It's question 3. I guess that makes it odd. All right.
Okay. I've been studying a lot of mythology, and the stories are really fascinating. I can see how they're all related across, the Bible and Egypt and whatever.
Yes.
And there's a story of Samson, and the strength was in his hair.
Yes.
And it got me wondering if we hold our wisdom in our hair. And
Not literally.
Not literally. And what it is, why, is there a thought form that manifests as no hair in men? and no offense to our channel, obviously.
I don't have any hair either.
I told you it was a strange question, but But I was curious,
It's a
why is that
case-by-case basis,
why men
and it
in our
will also
culture-
depend upon when the symbol appears archetypally in your history in terms of what the symbols mean to that particular culture at that particular time. It isn't always across the board for every single era and every single epoch that the symbols mean the same things or are representative of the same things. In that context, the idea really was self-image. The strength was in how he saw himself. Hair being a representation to many people on your planet of their image. Do you understand?
Yes.
So, it was a lesson in the idea of regardless of what you are going through, it is the image you hold of yourself that will actually carry you through. And when the hair was cut, what that is a euphemism for is somebody, in a sense, offering him a reality where he chose to accept it as a diminishment of his self-image. But once he regained his self-image, once his hair grew back, he regained his strength. But it's an issue of self-image. You follow?
I do.
So, the idea now, in terms of not having hair, is the idea, in a sense, that image isn't so important anymore, that it is, in that sense, the idea of being, shall we say, naked to the world. Do you understand?
I do.
All right. Does that help?
It does. Is there a reason why in our culture right now that there's the gender difference in men and women? Why? I mean, why does that manifest in that way?
Well, you are still dealing, as many civilizations do, with various issues of polarity. And the idea will continue for quite a while in your civilization, even as it still to some degree continues in ours, even though we are becoming more homogeneous and becoming less physical. There is still the expression of the polarity to some degree, because there are still themes of polarity to explore on that level in your reality.
Okay. And when you say polarity, you mean hair and no hair? I'm confused.
I am speaking now of what you just said about the idea of male and female.
Right. But I'm saying, why is it that men in our culture tend to, it's usually not a pleasant thing when this happens to men in our culture, and I'm wondering why it manifests that way as a gender difference.
Vulnerability. The males require more vulnerability. You understand?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, I'll say good day to you this day of your time. How are you all? All right. All right. You're all so shy and withdrawn. Let us begin by reminding you that as it stands now, the probabilities of full disclosure and open contact are between now and your year of 2027. And to allow you to focus on the idea, as we explained in the last transmission, that the focusing on your year of 2027 is not simply a prediction, but something that allows you to focus on that energy, to focus on that probability, to navigate yourselves in that direction, and to manifest that as the highest probability that will come to pass. So it is something that you are actively involved in, creating to happen. So, allow yourselves to focus on the idea of 2027, not just as a prediction, but as something you can be actively involved in focusing on, bringing about, actively manifesting that probability into your reality in an experiential way. Feel the reality of it. Feel it crystallizing around you day by day. You have invited us. We have accepted your invitation. So, let the party begin.
Hey, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Exciting to talk to you.
And you as well.
So it feels unsettling to me to think that even negative expressions like violence, inconsideration, or rudeness are still God knowing itself.
Everything is God knowing itself.
So,
Everything. There are lessons in everything. It's like saying there's a stream and there's a current in the stream, and I can choose to swim upstream against the current. Does that mean the current is still not God? No. The current is part of the river. So you can choose to swim upstream against the current, or you can go with the flow, with the current. Which do you prefer? Can you learn a lesson by going upstream? Yes, you might develop stronger muscles by swimming upstream. And therefore, you will be stronger when you finally let go and flow downstream. So even what appears to be negative can still be something that will aid and assist you by learning a lesson that will help you grow. Yes?
I struggle with that because...
You're struggling because you're swimming upstream.
I guess my question is, what place does integrity, goodness, service to others have in life? Why do we have to choose to do good?
You don't have to choose it. But let me explain it this way. Speaking of the idea of current. As we have explained, there is the positive, there is the negative, but there is the neutral. Reality is a trinity, not a duality. There's always the neutral place in the center. But the neutral place in the center still allows you the freedom to choose what you prefer. So in a sense, euphemistically, you could say that creation is 51% positive and 49% negative. So the idea is that if you simply relax and go with the current, you will ultimately drift into the positive side. But the idea is, if you understand that you may have chosen to come through the negative side to learn the lesson, that you can simply let go and drift into the positive side naturally, then you will have used the negative side in a way that is actually resulting in a positive outcome. So again, the idea is just to look at these things mechanically. It's not a value judgment. We understand that you can express the idea on your planet in violent ways, in ways that aren't necessarily condoning the idea of perpetuating life. We understand that. But again, a soul can sometimes learn in a much more accelerated way by putting themselves in a situation where they are immersed in something that is so dark, so dense, that when they finally let go of that, they will fly that much faster into the light. We call this the rubber band analogy. Because the farther back you pull a rubber band, when you finally let it go, it snaps that much faster in the other direction. And so sometimes souls can use the negative energy, the negative mechanism, to steep themselves in such negativity that when the soul finally says, all right, I have learned all the lessons I can about this being a vibration that is not necessarily in alignment with what I ultimately prefer to be and who I really am, and they finally let go of it, then they will snap that much faster and that much farther into the light, into the flow. So you can use it that way. It's there available to you if you want to do it that way. Because Source is everything and all possibilities, and it doesn't judge or devalue anything within itself. It's just a mechanism. It's not a value judgment. Only humans decide this is good or bad. So, remember, you are ultimately eternal and indestructible souls. So, in a sense, it's like looking at a play on a stage and going, oh, there's the hero and there's the villain, and they're playing their parts, and they're in conflict with one another. But when the play is done, they go out and have a beer together because they're actually friends. And they're just playing a role. And without the darkness, you cannot see the light as clearly, because the darkness frames the light.
So if it is all like a role play, kind of good and bad in a sense,
yes,
then there's no incentive to be good in a sense.
There is an incentive, and that is, as I said earlier, to actually allow yourself to feel the ease of creation in going with the flow and the current of the 51% that goes in that direction, so that you can enlighten yourself literally.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Does that help you?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Abel.
Avail.
Hello, Bashar.
And you good day.
I'm grateful to be here again.
Us as well.
Thank you. My first question is about when you talked about the memory, time travel,
Yes.
and the psychic abilities.
Yes.
Okay. So the future, basically, as I have understood it, it's not set.
Correct. It's simply a number of different probabilities.
All right. Then how? So when we are having that psychic moment
Yes.
or awareness,
Yes.
we're just
You are sensing the energy patterns that exist at the present that might likely unfold into a greater probability of a particular future. But if you change that energy, you've changed the future probability.
okay.
So remember, there's no such thing as a prediction of the future. There is only a sensing of the energy that exists at the moment the prediction is made that might lead to probabilities if the energy doesn't change.
Okay.
You're sensing probabilities, probability levels.
Okay.
Yes? Now,
Yes.
if something has a lot of energy behind it, a lot of momentum, seems unlikely to change, has a high degree of probability, then yes, you say, oh, well, your prediction came true. But when predictions are made and they don't seem to come true, that doesn't mean the prediction was wrong. If the person was truly sensing the energy at the time, it may simply be that the prediction being made known to people and people going, well, we don't prefer that, then they change the energy, they have rendered the prediction obsolete. That doesn't mean it was wrong to begin with. They have simply chosen another course by being informed of the prediction, by being informed of the energy that existed at that moment, so they can make a choice whether they prefer to let that energy ride or change course. That's what predictions are for.
Great.
Yes?
Yes. So
They're not to say, well, you're stuck with that future, sorry.
okay. That's good action. It's great.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so I think a gentleman earlier talked about it, but it wasn't clear to me.
Yes.
Where we talk about healing
Yes.
and going back and reversing it or changing it as
Well, you're not really reversing it in a sense. What we're saying is, do you understand the concept that you do shift to parallel realities every moment?
Yes.
And do you understand that when you do that, you actually are a different person in a different reality? Literally, even if you think you look the same, you're not the same person. Literally, do you understand that concept?
Yes.
So if you're not the same person, literally, then you can't have the same history. It just goes with the new person you are, that you have to have had a different history to become the person you are now. So you are changing your history so that it makes sense. The history has to make sense linearly for you in order to say, well, now I see how I became this person, because that history leads to me being this person. Whoever was there before had a different history, and that's not you.
Can I give an example?
Yes. Medical science.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
One personality can have a disease, another personality in the same body doesn't, because it's not the same body. Literally not the same body. You may think it is, but it's not. That's an example of it. Does that help?
Something's still missing for me.
Oh, all right.
How do we...
One moment.
Yeah.
Let's continue with that example. Do you understand that that has already actually been physically measured on your planet?
Yes.
A person with what is called multiple personalities, one personality may actually have a cancerous tumor. When it shifts personality, the tumor is not there at all. Is that clear, first of all?
Yes.
All right, so now think about that. Someone who has a cancerous tumor, there had to be some time spent for the tumor to grow to that point. Yes?
Yes.
So if the next personality doesn't have the tumor, what happened to the time? Where did the time go? It's not there, is it?
Yeah, it's not gonna.
Is that making more sense?
Yes.
So that means that it's not the same timeline. It's not the same history. It's not the same past. Because the time it took, the time that was needed to build the tumor doesn't exist for the person that doesn't have a tumor.
So the key is changing the personality.
The key is knowing
Knowing.
that you are a different person every moment. It's not learning to do something you're not already doing. It's becoming aware of what you're already doing. You are literally a different person every moment. Literally, this isn't a metaphor. You may again look in a mirror and think, oh, well, I look the same as I did yesterday. You're not the same person. You just think you are because of the illusion you've accepted called continuity in order to play the game of space-time reality on Earth. But you're breaking continuity more and more consciously. Therefore, one day you may look in the mirror and go, who's that? Oh my goodness. Have you ever heard of or had the experience? And I don't mean, okay, you haven't seen me in 100 years. Yes, I look different. I mean, have you ever heard of or had the experience yourself where maybe only a couple of months or a few months have gone by and you run into a friend and the friend goes, oh my goodness, I didn't even really recognize you. You look so different. What happened?
Yes, yes.
That might be sometimes, not always, but that might be sometimes the result of the fact that you actually have changed yourself sufficiently that you've broken continuity with your agreement with them to some degree. And are saying, I'm not really playing quite by the same rules anymore. And they are allowed to recognize that because that's part of the rules you are playing by, is that they recognize the break in continuity and realize that you don't look the same anymore. That can happen.
Do you, for let's say for a cancer patient,
Yes.
do they need to actually go and go within and realize and recognize where it came?
And not necessarily.
Change that, or?
Maybe. It depends. You have to take it on a case-by-case basis. Everyone's different about how they need to get to that realization. And also, remember, sometimes people will choose to have that experience for a very positive reason and won't let it go. So, again, you have to respect the reason why it was created to begin with before you can say, well, let's figure out how to get rid of it. It may not be get-riddable for a variety of reasons. They may actually need to hold on to it for a variety of reasons you have no understanding of, and perhaps no business trying to change. You have to explore what's happening here with this person. What's the reason this is happening? Is it the result of negative beliefs they could change and then change their experience? Or is this being created for some reasons I can't even fathom because they're on such a different path? Maybe it has to do with the people that they're interacting with and what those people go through and how they change because they have to deal with the person who has cancer. Maybe that person is doing it for them. Who knows?
Okay.
You have to get into every single case study. They're all different. There are as many reasons for doing that as there are people who experience it.
Okay.
Yes?
On a similar note, I
Yes.
just remember a question. Did Tesla create a healing
Machine?
machine?
Yes.
He did. And it's not allowed to be used right now, or
The technology is findable. The technology is doable. It has to do with frequency, vibration, understanding what the vibration of different diseases are, and knowing how to apply certain frequencies to them that cancel that vibration of the disease out. Mm-hmm. So it's doable. In a sense, even though some of Tesla's papers may have been taken by certain individuals who didn't necessarily prefer that the general public understand some of the things that he did, that technology is not necessarily that sophisticated.
did he have any help from the?
You all have help. You all have guidance. But understand, he was an extremely tapped in and talented individual who had extra-dimensional abilities. Do you understand how he utilized what you typically call hallucinations?
Oh, no, I'm not aware of that.
As a child, he experienced hallucinations so real he could not necessarily tell what was physically real and what was in his mind. He actually, over time, learned to control that ability to the point where he could actually construct in front of his eyes, as if it were physical, the devices, see them operating. If they didn't seem to operate properly, he could literally act as if he was taking them apart physically, look at where the problems were in the hallucination, repair them in his mind, put them back together, and then all he had to do when he built the device was copy the hallucination, and that's why his devices worked perfectly the first time when he built them. That's the ability that he had. You all have that potential if it's relevant for you to experience it, but you all might experience it in different ways. Nevertheless, the idea of using frequency to heal diseases is something that's relatively easy for you to accomplish, and in fact, there are many people actually investigating that already on your planet. So, do your own research. Yes?
Yes.
Does that help?
Yes, I have one more question.
Do you?
Yes.
Well, I may or may not have one more answer, but we'll see.
I'm just curious. I just remember a few nights ago I had a dream.
Yes.
Which I really don't understand.
And?
I saw that a loved one was sitting and over his head, but not directly on the top of his head. So
Yes, yes.
it was as if there was a hologram,
Yes.
the holographic image
Yes.
of, it's so hard to explain, like a holographic image of like a witch's nose or something like that.
Yes.
But inside of that, it was like as if it was transparent. There was a skull.
Yes.
It didn't feel good to me in that, in that moment. So I just
right.
tore it apart.
You tore it apart.
Yeah. So
All
what
right.
was it? I really don't understand that.
You were given an opportunity to learn to become more lucid in your dreams and change the outcome of something you didn't prefer into something that you did. You're working with a guide that's helping you understand how to become more aware while you're in the dream state. All right?
So I did actually change something.
Yes.
Was that on a template level or what?
In a sense, yes. The reverberations can go into the template level from what you did, yes. So, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Hi, Bashar.
And you good day.
I was hoping you could speak on a recent experience, what I perceive to be my year.
What you perceive to be...
This year that I experienced.
Yes, yes, yes. All right.
So, it seems to be a lesson in darkness.
All right. And what would that be?
Usually I'm very connected to my guides. I can hear them, I can feel them,
Yes.
and I know they're still there.
Yes, of course they are.
But this year I experienced a lot of darkness. So one thing after another. And
Yes, all right. And
the biggest thing was feeling disconnected.
All right. And yet you know that you cannot be, yes?
Yes.
All right. You are using your connection to have an experience of disconnection.
Yes.
All right. But that means you're strong enough to handle it now. That's why they're taking the training wheels off.
Yes. So I'm curious now.
Yes.
Obviously, I'm learning a lot about the power of the darkness.
And the power of the light within you
Yes.
that can balance with the darkness to put you in the center point. That's what you're learning here.
Okay. So how can I use that understanding and apply it with other people? Like you were talking about before that you really have to explore it, right? So it's like
Yes.
some people need to change a belief, but other people, they need to experience that circumstance because it's benefiting them.
Well, how does your imagination say you could use this? How does your imagination say you could apply this in positive ways that you prefer in your life? How can you use this knowledge?
I guess realizing that no matter how much you don't know, you do know on some level.
You do. And the first thing you know is that you don't know everything.
Yes.
And therefore you're willing to stay in the center and let that knowledge flow through you.
Yeah.
And allow yourself to know that by staying in the state you prefer, you will filter that energy and filter that knowledge in all sorts of positive synchronicities in your life. Yes?
And as you get more comfortable with that, or you
Yes.
understand that more,
Yes.
can you almost feel safety and comfort in the darkness?
Yes. I can put it to you this way, perhaps. When you get in touch with the darkness within yourself fully, you know no darkness can harm you because you're equal to it.
Wow.
To put it euphemistically in Earth terminology, no one is as much of a badass as me, so I don't have to worry about being accosted by badasses.
I like that a lot.
Do you understand?
Yes.
You are equal to the darkness. Therefore, darkness cannot touch you.
Wow, that's extremely helpful.
Yes, it is.
Okay. This is kind of a question, but more I want to know your opinion.
Yes.
So there's two very common ideas out there with spirituality.
Yes.
There's going with the flow, following your excitement.
Yes.
A lot more Bashari, if you will.
I think I've heard of him.
And then there's kind of the Elan perspective. Obviously, you know Elan.
Yes.
You're 100% creating your reality. You can create knowingness and tap into any reality at any given moment.
Yes, well, there's no difference between those two.
Can you explain that a little bit?
What's the difference that you're perceiving between them?
Okay, so for example, this year
Yeah.
that I had this year of darkness.
Yes.
I didn't plan on it.
I'm not saying you had to plan on it, but you're obviously creating it for yourself.
But I don't feel as if I created it.
I don't care if you feel as if you did. That's the point. You have to own it in order to be able to use it effectively. If you don't own it, if you deny that you had anything to do, if you're not responsible for creating it, how can you use it? You can't change what you don't own.
So is it just a difference of the level that I'm realizing I'm creating it? For example,
Yes.
I understand when I change a belief
Yes.
that the synchronicities that follow that, I'm creating that. I felt like I create that.
You have to know you're creating it whether you feel like you are or not, because there is no other way it could manifest in your life. You have to know that.
So what's the difference between, for example, if I stood here right now
Yes.
and I said, I want to be somewhere else.
Want
Okay.
is not need. That's your ego talking. Your ego saying, what's happening is not good enough. Invalidation. I want to be somewhere else. Why? Did you hear me earlier say there's nowhere more important than being here and now with what's happening?
Yes.
Then why would you want something else to happen unless you're invalidating what's happening?
And is that the same for your reality too? So
We
when
don't
you're-
invalidate, though. We understand that everything that we experience is part of our creation for serving us in the best possible way. We never question that, and therefore we always get the benefit of it. Remember, even if something manifests, you can recognize, you can objectively, neutrally recognize that what manifests may not be what you neutrally, objectively don't prefer. But that's not the same thing as judging it as invalid. And the idea is, if you understand that something has manifested that you objectively don't prefer, you still have to go back into knowing that still had to happen for a reason that does serve me. What could it be? So you start using what you don't prefer in a way that you do prefer, and therefore what you don't prefer has served you. Because it's got to be there for a reason. It's got to be there for your reason. If only to simply reinforce within you that you have the ability to use it negatively or positively. And sometimes you people will test yourselves. Have I really changed? Do I really understand how this works? Let's see. Let me manifest something I don't prefer and see if I respond positively or if I still react negatively, which means I haven't changed. So I tested myself and I have reacted in a way I don't prefer. Therefore, you have learned a valuable lesson. Therefore, it has served you in a positive way. That's how you need to look at it.
Yes.
It's not about what you want to be different. It's about how willing you are to use what you've manifested in the best possible way. Remember, please remember, or don't. It doesn't matter what happens. It only matters what you do with what happens. Would you like to repeat that? It doesn't matter what happens. It only matters what you do with what happens. That's it. Period. That's the entire secret of the instruction manual.
So I don't have to actively create my desires if I just follow the flow.
If you follow the flow, your needs will always manifest if they are relevant for who you truly are. There is nothing you need to do beyond that. The current of creation, your current in creation, already knows where you need to go. Surrender is not surrendering control. Surrendering is surrendering to the control that's already built into you. That's why you go with the flow. The current already knows where you need to go. You don't need to make things happen. Making things happen, believing that you need to make things happen, is resistance to the current. Everything that's relevant for you is already contained within the current's energy. Just go with the flow. Your life will unfold naturally. You will respond to it in a positive way. Synchronicity will abound. Everything that needs to happen in your life that's relevant for you to experience will happen in perfect timing. That's all there is to it. You don't need to make it work. The machine works. Let it work. Let it work. Don't stop it by thinking you know better what should happen here. No, you don't. Many of you have to get to the point where you finally have to admit to yourself, I have no bloody idea.
I experienced that.
All right, then go with that. That, as many people on your own planet say, is the beginning of wisdom, to know that you don't know.
Yeah.
But your higher mind does. Remember, your physical mind is only designed to experience what's happening. It doesn't have any other job. It's not capable of performing any other function. Your higher mind knows what needs to happen. And it speaks to you to let you know what needs to happen by manifesting its communication in you as passion. Because passion, you're willing to follow, except when you let negative beliefs stop you. So stop talking yourselves out of hearing your higher mind. That's all you have to do. Stop talking yourselves out of hearing and listening and following what your higher mind is doing to guide you by sending the communication of passion to you. Here it is, follow this, act on this now. Here it is, follow this, act on this now. Here it is, follow this, act on this now. No. I know better. I don't want to go that way. I want to go this way. Okay, higher mind says, go ahead, walk that path. Oops, look at that. She fell into a hole. I wonder why. I was going to guide her around it, but she insisted she knew better, so plop, there you go. Let me help you up out of the hole now, dust you off. Are you willing to listen to your passion now? No? Still stubborn? Okay, there's another hole over there. Go that way.
Yeah, I learned that one the hard way.
All right. But the point is, hard or not, you've learned it.
Yeah.
So use what you've learned. Don't ignore it.
Yes.
Let it be easy, because it is. The path of least resistance. Remember, again, analogy. Path, A to Z. Some people think it's got to be like this. Many paths are actually like this. Because those detours are necessary for you to learn what you need to learn so you can truly appreciate what's on the path, what the experience is all about. Plus, remember this. if this is not your path, it's not going to be the path of least resistance. If this is the path of least resistance, you're going to flow along this path much faster than you ever could on this path, because if this is not the path of least resistance, you're going to meet resistance. It's going to slow you down. You're going to be walking through molasses. Whereas this person taking what seems to be the longer route will actually move along it much more quickly because there's no resistance. Go with the flow. It knows where you need to go. Does this help?
Very helpful.
Thank you.
I'm just going to leave you with a joke that my friend has been dying to tell you.
Oh, I hope they're not really dying to tell me. But please
Silly,
do
so
share.
I hope it doesn't offend you.
Oh, nothing offends me, or I wouldn't be working with all of you. No offense.
Okay, the joke is,
Yes.
how far is Uranus from Asasani?
Are you going to provide the answer, or should I?
I'll let you.
No distance at all.
Thank you so much, Bashar. So grateful.
Thank you.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
What is the meaning of love?
Love is the frequency of existence itself. It means you are always unconditionally supported, no matter what you choose. It means you are free to be who you truly are.
Okay.
That's what it means. Does that help?
Yes.
Thank you.
That's very interesting.
Yes, it is. Anything else?
Would you like to share anything fun about yourself?
When I often take walks on the surface of my world, Asasani, a planet similar to your own, but with no cities, just all nature. You understand?
Yes.
I will often find that I will run into, at exactly the perfect moment, someone to tell me something exactly perfect that I need to know, and that someone doesn't have to necessarily be a member of my species. It could be a visitor from the stars. It could be a nature spirit. It could be a tree. It could be a rock. It could be a stream. But in gathering all of those conversations throughout the course of the day, I will sometimes find at the end of the day that when I put all those conversations together, they actually blend as different parts of one story that in and of itself then reveals something wonderful to me. That's fun.
Very fun.
Yes.
It's amazing.
It is. Will that do, or is there something else?
That will be fine.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bashar.
Oh. By the way,
Yes?
I love you.
Me too.
Thank you. One moment. Who we were just speaking to, is something happening for you within 3 months? Some change? What would that be?